It's the Machine of Nonsense, episode 65, coming from the Post-aPODcalypse. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by Kayla.
Hey.
We've got Aaron.
Hello.
And Wasteland Mike.
Hello. My Wastelander voice.
Terrifying. So we've got a lot going on. We've had the Super Bowl, so there's some trailers that launched with the Super Bowl. The Oscar noms, Boba Fett and Peacemaker both ended. We've got a lot to talk about. Oh yeah, and Horizon Forbidden West released. Been playing a lot of that. We're going to talk about that in the second half of the show, along with our favorite post-apocalypse media. Lots of it out there. Some of it's good. First, let's go around the room and talk about what we've been up to. I know Aaron, Kayla, and I have been playing some Horizon. We'll leave that talk for the second half. But what have you been up to, Mike?
I've been playing Deltarune on Switch. That's Toby Fox's follow-up to Undertale. There's only 2 chapters so far. I think I'm about halfway through chapter 2, and it's pretty similar to Undertale, mechanically and stuff like that. It's instead of having just like the Earthbound, you only see the enemy. It's like a first-person view. It's more of a Final Fantasy, like you're on the left, they're on the right, like duke it out kind of thing. And that's pretty good. And been doing my Paul Thomas Anderson kind of like complete rewatch. Got through The Master. There Will Be Blood. We saw Licorice Pizza the other day, finally. Really enjoyed that. And Punch Drunk Love. So we still got a couple left. But I've really enjoyed all of them so far. And yeah, that's about it. Finished up the shows we're going to be talking about and still watching Gemstones, and that's about it.
We'll probably be talking about Licorice Pizza a little bit in our Oscars talk. I know that me and Kayla really enjoyed our time with that. You said that you did. Might come up in the snubs section of our Oscar talk, maybe. But
Yeah.
how about you, Aaron? Horizon, I'm sure, is top of mind. But anything else?
I played a lot of Pokemon Arceus. I did absolutely everything in that game.
Congrats.
I caught every Pokemon. I completed every Pokemon Pokédex entry. I haven't gone back. My brother-in-law, who's 14, his response to that was, "Did you catch all the shinies yet?" So I guess that's what I have to do next. After you fill the Pokédex,
That sounds like a task.
right? After you fill the Pokédex and you complete all the pages, they give you a shiny charm that like doubles the instances of shiny showing up.
Okay. I've encountered one shiny throughout my whole Pokemon career.
Other than Ponyta? Have you played Arceus at all?
No, not at all. I mean,
okay.
in any Pokemon game ever. So.
Well, you got Red Gyarados, right?
Yeah, but I like
You mean in the wild?
random
Okay.
one. Like a Ghastly is the only one.
Yeah. While I was playing this, I only saw it's like because you get shiny Ponyta as a part of a quest, so that doesn't really count.
Oh,
I saw a Cricketune that was shiny and it got away from me.
damn.
So that's the only shiny I saw the entire time I was playing.
There'd
and
probably
I-
be some Pokemon that I wouldn't even be able to notice if they're,
Right. Well,
if they're shiny.
almost every
Then
Pokemon you see pretty constantly, like everywhere. Like I didn't even know that much about Cricketune, if we're being honest. But after I had already seen like 3,000 of them, suddenly he's like orange instead of red. So
Cool.
you
So
can
I
usually
know
tell that.
I know, of course, that I know what a shiny Pokemon is. Of course. I mean, but for the viewers and listeners outside, what the fuck's a shiny Pokemon?
They palette swap it.
Yeah,
The color's different.
like a shiny ponyta will have like a blue flame.
Yeah, it's like bluish purple and like I caught it. Oh, in the game I caught a shiny Happiny, and it was just a different shade of pink.
Ooh,
so I don't
ooh,
really.
a shiny Happiny. I don't want
Like
one
a
of those.
shiny Charizard is black. Like
Oh fuck,
Oh.
that's cool.
sometimes it's a really broad like
Yeah.
change. Other times it's not so much. Like the Ghastly I have is just like a different shade, from purple, basically. Like it's not a big jarring change, but some of them are really cool. They've been doing that since Gold and Silver. I wasn't even aware until
Yeah, it's
later.
It's pretty cool. Other than games, I watched this really cool show called The Curse. I sent Mike the trailer for it, but it's just a really funny, like, old fashioned British heist kind of like show, like where like they're like they go to rob some money from somewhere. They accidentally steal like 3 tons of gold, and then they're trying to get away with it, but they're all like idiots. It's really funny. It's really good.
What do you watch it on?
BBC Channel 4.
BBC Two.
So the only way to actually watch it was to use a VPN to trick them into thinking my location was in the UK. Because it hasn't been released in the rest of the world yet. But it's still it's
app we can fucking get. I
but
saw
like
Spencer. Damn it! I'm calling the Queen and getting this shit fixed after that bullshit.
Does that mean like all of our UK listeners are actually you, Aaron, through your VPN?
it's very possible.
Oh god. Okay. Do you have to have a Sudan VPN as well? Because
I've been rotating it. 2% of the time I'm in Canada.
oh god. Oh god. It's all a lie.
We got 8 users and me. It's fine. But I had to watch this show. That's the only reason I wasn't just like browsing random British television shows. It's made and then it has the actors from the People Just Do Nothing cast. And it's amazing.
Nice. It's a lot of fun. Kayla, how goes the Seinfeld rewatch, but not a rewatch because it's the first time.
Yeah, first time for me. It's solid. It's nothing crazy. I have no idea what season I'm in, to be quite honest. It's one of those things that you just put on and let ride.
Is there a character named Putty yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Putty. No.
Yeah, I wanna say
He's pretty early in the show, isn't he?
I thought he was kind of second half. Like that's how I tell if it's like second half, kind of. Maybe I'm wrong, but
you might be right. I think the last thing I saw when you had it paused or something was maybe like mid-season 4 or something was where
they are casting for the show about nothing.
Ooh, that seems pretty late. But I've never watched Seinfeld like straight through. Only in syndication have I seen it, and but I guess I don't really know.
He's in season 6. His first appearance is in Fusily Jerry.
Fusily Jerry. Oh man, so good.
Have you guys seen the Fusily Jerry yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then.
So you're not in season 6.
Get ready for 2 great things to happen to you in one episode in season 6.
All right.
David Putty and Fusily Jerry.
My favorite episode is in the final season. So.
Wow.
Which one is that?
The car, like the Putty car lot, like car salesman.
Oh yeah,
So I love that one.
What else, Kayla? I'm trying to think what else.
You finished Outer Wilds. We finished Portal 2.
That's right.
Co-op and single.
Yeah.
You met
I love
Cave
this
Johnson.
show.
Yeah, Cave Johnson was fantastic. Yeah, big fan.
J.K. Simmons up in that.
Everything about that whole thing was just amazing. I had like all the music from the thing because they released all the individual tracks and sounds to like use as notifications on your cell phone. Like my ringtone is still one of the like songs.
The music was a standout for me. I really enjoyed the music. I mean, I don't know. We haven't really talked about it in depth. Kayla, but I enjoyed my time both in the co-op and the main story. I really liked Wheatley. I thought he was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool game, not a like fucking life-changing or anything like that in the way that, like, I don't know, BioShock came out that same year, right? Like, I don't know. I'd rather replay BioShock for the 5th time or something than maybe replay Portal 2, but that's just me.
I think just the writing and having a game that is so enjoyable, like, and funny was so rare at that time and still pretty much is. I think that's what people really latch onto.
I think it's definitely held up. Like, even though is that 2012 then?
7, right?
Oh shit.
No, it's like 2011.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, maybe I'm thinking Portal 1.
I remember I played MK9 before, right around that time as well.
Same game, really.
It does look great. Like Kayla's right. It holds up. It performs really well. We played it on the Series X on your disc, Mike, your 360 disc. It performs really well. Like you'd think with like the kind of crazy physics stuff that you're doing that there'd be some, issues, but not at all. Like just butter smooth. Yeah.
A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Good game. I would love to see a Portal 3 someday.
I would too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would too.
Yeah.
When playing through it, did you guys play Fallout? You guys have played the Fallout games?
I've played
4.
Fallout 4.
Yeah, 4 is the only one.
So like the kind of humor that's behind a lot of the Fallout, like, in the whole new like wasteland stuff. I feel like a lot of that humor, it's like a similar type to the way of going through Portal 2, except for I think Portal 2 does it way better. I'd always wished that whoever wrote Portal 2 would just go work on Fallout. I think
it's a good call. I think especially with like Fallout 4's vaults being like scientific testing in a lot of ways. Like you could see
all
them.
Of them.
Right.
Those
yeah.
are always the best.
Yeah.
Like little side stories or when you find the other.
Right, and you got to figure out what they were testing for in this one, what they're testing for in this one. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wouldn't be too hard to say. Like, there's even vaults in Portal 2 that you, like, open up and stuff, like, that look very much like the same, like, if they shared a universe almost.
Are you guys going to play the first one?
Maybe. I actually played that one way back, like, when that came out or whatever. Like, in the orange box, I had played that one.
Same.
Yeah.
That's how I played it.
I would.
I think you definitely should. I think like the story and the plot and like in the is pretty good in them.
Nice. Also checked out Kimmy on Netflix, I think. I think that's what it was on. I kind of dug that. It's a quick movie. It's like under an hour and a half, I think, total. Stars
HBO Max joint.
HBO Max, you're right.
I see it every day when I open. I'm like, Zoe Kravitz with blue hair, just looking.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. It's weird because it's very much the same setup or a very similar setup to that. What Woman in the Window, is that the one with
fuck.
Right, and that was really bad. And they kind of start off in a very similar way. It's like a shut-in, woman, but this is very COVID centric. Like they mention COVID, you see people with like masks and stuff. So it's definitely like the first thing I've checked out where they're like really referencing COVID. That's only like part of the reason why she's a shut-in. You get into like they do a pretty good job of like explaining why she doesn't want to be out in the world, but she essentially kind of sort of witnesses a murder or something to that effect, but through technology. She's like a QA tester for a Siri, like an Alexa type app, and it's called Kimmy. And she essentially has to like QA the audio files that are coming in. Like she makes sure that if someone says like, "Oh, play me Taylor Swift," that it plays like the exact song that the person requests and stuff, and not like gets confused or something like that. So as she's doing that, she has to go through like hundreds of files every day. She comes upon one that sounds like someone's being assaulted, murdered, something like that, and she tries to like dig into it with her company, and kind of gets into some shit with that. It felt very much like The Net, or one of those old like movies with like mid 90s where like, oh, someone falls upon some information they shouldn't be, a part of, and gets chased because is put into danger. But it's real snappy and moves real fast, and there's some cool stuff. The ending is a little interesting. It wraps up in an interesting way, but I'd recommend it just as a fun little watch. It's quick. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Can Kimmy order pizza online? Like, can she do that? Because Sandra Bullock did that.
She could do a lot. She could do more than I think.
Introduction to the internet, I think, was The Net.
I almost want to do a rewatch of The Net. I feel like it's a good companion piece to Kimmy.
You should not watch it.
No!
I've tried recently. It's not great.
Oh. Well, let's get to some other things we've been checking out. Like I mentioned earlier, we had 2 season finales in the last couple weeks. The Book of Boba Fett and Peacemaker, both wrapped up their first seasons, maybe their last seasons on one of them at least. Peacemaker got picked up for season 2. I don't know the status of Book of Boba Fett. Have we all watched Book of Boba Fett? I think so.
Yep.
I haven't finished it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to.
Ah, gotcha.
I kind of just lost interest. I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Not very good. The non-Boba Fett stuff was the best stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've read in articles saying the best episodes of Boba Fett are the ones where they're not about him. That seems kind of silly. So
I think that's the general consensus, yeah. And probably mine as well.
Mine too.
You get like a little mini Mando season in there. You get more webs to the to get to Ahsoka and some other shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting cameos that set up other stuff that is completely just like, it's weird how much stuff they set up that just obviously has nothing to do with Boba Fett, doesn't seem like it's going to add anything to the story or continue Boba Fett's story in any meaningful way. But like Nelson said, like, oh yeah, this is where Mandalorian's going. Cool. This is what Ahsoka's up to, that kind of stuff. Interesting decision. Keep the mask on. I feel like Boba Fett needed to keep that helmet on a little bit.
The show really reminded me of that scene in E.T. where Elliot's just like playing with his toys and like this guy's Hammerhead and here comes Boba Fett, and like it's just like, really, you're just playing with your toys at this point with this kind of show. Like, there's a Jedi and then there's a spaceship and then and I don't know, it just seemed like a child's fever dream to me, the whole show.
Yeah,
it's slow.
You can keep going.
I think it just kind of was slow and then just farted out a bunch of weird stuff. Like,
I think so too. It was like, there were definitely episodes where I turned to Eric and was like, all right, what was that about? Like, why did we see him in the desert for all this time just so he could use a weapon at the end? Like,
it seems really weird to have filler episodes in a show that has 6 episodes or 7 episodes.
And it seems like this should just be a filler season. Like, we're done with Mandalorian season 2. We're working on season 3. We're working on all this stuff. We just want to give you guys a little bit of stuff. Like, some Monster of the Week stuff would have been fun. Boba Fett doing weird bounty hunting. That would have been cool. But they took it somewhere else.
Yeah, some odd decision making overall. I don't know. I was kind of hyped for this one. I know when we were talking about it coming out, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be like a mob show set in space, set in the Star Wars universe, a Sopranos in space or something, and like it just wasn't. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't.
Led you to believe that with the trailer, but it's just wasn't. Tatooine's not interesting. Like, I don't know. It's like, stop going there.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I would have liked just give me Justified in that small little town with Timothy Oliphant, and I'd rather have that. Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
I want duels with Cad Bane or what? Like, sure, give me Quick and the Dead in Star Wars, I guess. But I don't want just whatever, like just a really old Boba Fett guy just kind of doing nothing, and these weird little biker gang, and he gets to, there's this really, like, they think they're doing this cool thing at the end of the show, and it was just really late to me. Man, I don't know. It doesn't fall in the good Star Wars for me.
Well, it looks like I think they just sat there and they're like, man, we've owned Boba Fett for a while. We haven't made any money off of him. So like, oh, how do we do that? And because they know for the longest time, he was everybody's favorite character, despite having 4 minutes of screen time in the original trilogy.
Right.
And 3 lines and never actually doing anything. He was everybody's favorite character. Yes. So I think they were just hoping people would watch it purely for that and kind of just phoned it in and coming up with a story for him.
Bet you a lot of people watched it. I don't know if Disney ever puts out any of those numbers, but just based on what you said, like the fact that
it was significantly larger than Mando season 2.
Wow.
What I read. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mando season 2 was good.
Yeah, way better.
I heard someone describe, it's so weird that Mandalorian, it really got cooking when Boba Fett shows up. And then in Boba Fett's show, it really gets cooking when Mandalorian shows up.
Because when you're watching The Mandalorian and Boba Fett shows up and he's every bit the badass that people had assumed from the original trilogy, you never got to see it, but he looks like he'd be badass. So they just assumed he was going to be super cool. So he came down Mandalorian, and I think he was that. And that was the biggest advertising for him to have his own show. And then he had his own show, and it was like, what if Boba Fett got old and was really nerfed and does a lot of really slow hand-to-hand combat all the time? That's okay, that's Boba Fett now, and he never wears his helmet. So cool. You can look at his bald head all day.
Chapter 1 of this book, Origin of Stick. What the fuck? I don't need this. I don't need to know how Boba Fett got his cane / walking stick here.
Oh, the Book of Stick. I like it. I'm digging it.
Did you guys watch that little special they had about Boba Fett? Where they were talking about the character? I guess before he was even released that he was going to be in the movie, in a town where George Lucas lived, they had a Star Wars parade where people were wearing the actual movie costumes, and they had him out there, and he was literally the most popular person there, even over Darth Vader, and people still didn't even know who he was. So that's how much his image commanded people to like him, and then they completely squandered it on how can we change his character as much as we can before we release the show.
Well, even the fact that, knowing that, I feel like anyone, you don't have to be a marketing wizard or anything else to understand that, the costume, the armor, the helmet, all of that is what Boba Fett is. That's what makes him cool. Even if he doesn't do anything, it's you got that thing. And they chose to keep him out of that as much as possible in this show. Helmet off, mostly. And also, he was just in his tiny whiteies at points, right? What?
We're just wearing a dress half the time,
right?
It's so fucking hot under that helmet, man.
Right? Sure.
You're swamp ass. You just get swamp face in Tatooine, man. Like,
Oh.
come on now.
Sure, there's like little air conditioners.
He does this weird thing with his mouth too. He's like always like gritting. He's always showing off that implant denture. It's weird.
Oh no.
I can't stop staring at his mouth. I want him to wear the helmet.
I think they're just really proud of themselves for casting the guy who he was cloned off of. So they want to show you that as much as possible.
I think it's wonderful casting. I thought when they announced that and stuff, I think that's really cool because he's a clone. Here's the dude who played Jango Fett.
Right.
He's like kind of the age he should be. Like, that's cool.
I mean that the aspect is really cool, but it's like when you listen to a really good song and they've written a really good hook and their response to writing a really good hook is to repeat it throughout the entire fucking song. That's what it feels like because they could have been like, yeah, that's the same fucking guy. That he would look like this at this age because he is him. And then they could have just wrote on that, letting it be a subtle background note, but instead it's like, look, his bald face is right there all day. Now look at him in his underwear, and I feel like they made it more about casting that actor than it was about Boba Fett. Because so much of Boba Fett was him hiding in his armor, and now it's just... Now everybody's like, we got to know the character, and we don't really like him, so...
I never thought I'd put Boba Fett and bad pop punk like in the same category, but you've sold me on it, Aaron. It's like every time Fall Out Boy makes a good song, you can tell when they think a certain lyric is clever because they're gonna say it 1,000 more times in the song. Oh, so I think the official Machina Nonsense consensus on the scale of do we like it, do we love it, do we want no more of it? We don't want no more of it.
No.
Just
Parts of
Mando.
it. I want parts of it.
Right. But Peacemaker.
I like that Goro lizard.
Peacemaker, guys. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm putting it on the love it scale. I thoroughly enjoyed Peacemaker. My favorite writer, David Wong, came out and did a lovingly strong review of Peacemaker as well. So that's two people. What about you guys? What'd you think of season 1 of at least 2 on Peacemaker?
I liked it. I think Peacemaker was the right choice to do kind of a show, but I don't know. I don't know if I liked everything they added to the character. They've really kind of toned him down from what he was in the movie, at least it seemed to me. Some of the comedy parts they go on like 1 or 2 jokes too long. Always. Like there's always this back and forth either between like Vigilante and Peacemaker, or when they're all dogging on Economist or whatever his name is. And it just goes on and on, and I know I've said it before, but the show is ruled by its soundtrack, and it in this tone the soundtrack bleeds into like the tone of the thing. It just seems like Bill and Ted R-rated or something. Like I don't know. Cena is good enough in it, and there's some really cool moments in it. Like there's this jail scene that's really visually very cool. But I don't know, like there's always just something that rubbed me the wrong way in every episode, it seemed. So I can only put it on the like it scale. What'd you think, Kayla?
I pretty much love it. I think it's really fun. I like things that are a little bit more less weighty on watching, and it touches on some stuff, but nothing too crazy that you can't like move on from. Like it within the show, of course, they move right along. They kind of don't stay on those things too long. I do agree that sometimes their jokes are a little one too many. Like, okay, move on, quit with the farts. I get it. But other than that, I do love it. I think it was fun. I don't mind the music at all. I like
Oh,
it.
it's so bad.
I loved it. I think it's just
It's
fits.
so. Ugh.
It is bad. It's all butt rock, but like it fits. It's Peacemaker. Like
Yeah,
he's butt rock.
yeah.
He is.
Why
butt
does he
rock
have to be butt rock?
personified. Hey man, that's who he is.
There is a scene that like the piano scene.
Mm.
It's really well done. Cena's doing some stuff at times in this. The dramatic parts of the character he does much better, I think, than the comedic parts. And I thought that would not be the case.
Yeah, his performance is strong. I like it.
Yeah, he's able to. He carried it for me, and it was good enough. Having the I liked it. I like it.
Yeah,
I don't know where they're gonna go, but we'll find out.
that
I
was
think that
yeah.
I think that's fun that it can go anywhere else. I was kind of done with the whole butterfly plot myself.
Yeah, that was my one criticism, I guess, is that like they introduced kind of incredible stakes, not only in like the world ending, the butterfly stuff, let's just say, basically from episode 1, like huge stakes for this like kind of just ragtag group or whatever else, but also like huge personal stakes, like just like the infighting between the team and everything else. And like, I guess mild spoiler alert here, it kind of all gets resolved in a lot of ways. Like you said, it can kind of go anywhere now for season 2, and that was a little bit like to do that in whatever it was, 7 episodes or something, and resolve that all in those 7 episodes. I don't know what the thrust of like future seasons or at least future season is gonna be, but
I mean, Peacemaker might spiral more into his like hallucination kind of thing. There's going to be the will they won't they with Harcourt. There's the whole thing with Amanda Waller now, with kind of the press conference that's at the end of the show. So maybe it's like a team kind of, we have to stay low and we don't have the backing of the most powerful woman in the world anymore. And I don't know, like just kind of mercs for hire kind of thing.
Kayla loves a good Merc of the Week, so.
Sure, give me that.
So 2 love it's, 1 like it on Peacemaker. Just wanted to touch a little bit on, pose a question to the group about the trailers we've recently seen. Primarily Nope and Multiverse of Madness. Those were the 2 big ones for me. And also Men from Alex Garland. I know at least 3 of us have seen all of them. How caught up on the recent trailers are you, Aaron?
Not very.
Okay.
I
What
don't
about
think I've
Nope?
seen. I haven't seen.
Oh, that's Jordan Peele's new movie.
Scary
The trailer
movie.
is fantastic.
That's so I feel like in his previous 2 movies, like when I went into the movie and I completely guessed the ending based almost wholly on the trailer. So I was actually going into that movie without having watched the trailer.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine. Trailers
decent
always
idea.
spoil too
because
much.
he's based his whole he's trying to be like M. Night Shyamalan of horror, where everything he's doing is based on twists now. So like, I don't know, the way they put too much into trailers now, you can't have twists. So I'm just gonna try to avoid it, so the twist act will mean something when I'm sure it comes.
I think Alfred Hitchcock
Man,
is very.
and Aaron, you
into
need to go to Hollywood and get a job right away. Like you need to start creating these things, man. Because I think the Nope trailer is one of the best. I think his trailers are very good. Where I leave the trailer not really knowing what to expect.
Oh really? Okay, then yeah, maybe I'll take a look at it. I just feel like I hope I'm not ruining anything with the other ones, but like the endings of his previous 2 movies, I thought was pretty obvious going in. Like literally, I watched them both with my wife, who I watch all my movies with. But we watched what was the second one? Is that Us?
Us.
Yeah.
We watched that, and like literally as soon as it shows her, like after the mirror house, we're like, oh, they switched spots. She's the one from the underground thing.
The whole plot, like
it was all really obvious. Like and I feel like the trailer is what made it so obvious. So,
but like the scene with Elizabeth Moss and like the ballet fight scene are not in the trailer, and those are like the best parts of Us, and like just the small little parts in Get Out. Like I don't know, he crafts really good, not horror / just real fucking movies. Like I don't know, like he brings.
I don't know how many. I know this is a weird thing for me speaking on, but I don't know how many more. I can't do that. I'm not a white person in a horror movie jokes I can take, and he puts a lot of those in there. But yeah, and Us, I think Us has some of the scariest stuff in any horror movies. Just the daughter, the evil version of the daughter alone, I think is scarier than almost any horror movie released in however many years. Just the look on her face, just her running after people, like it's just, I love that. So I think he does aspects of horror movies really well. I don't love his movies as much as a lot of people do, but I think they're pretty good. I just hope he doesn't turn into being like M. Night Shyamalan, where he's got one trick and he's gonna keep doing it.
Nope looks like it could be his best one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really intrigued to see what he's got in store.
That trailer's got a lot of stuff. I don't know. Like, I think it depends on how you go into... I know a lot of people like you, Aaron, who like go into a movie or go into a trailer and they're just like, they figure it out, or they're trying to figure it out, or it just comes to them, or whatever the case may be. When I go into a movie, like especially a movie that has a twist or seems like it's going to, or whatever else, I'm always surprised because I'm just not trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to like live it.
I wouldn't think so much that I'm trying to figure it out. It's just like when they start, because any movie that has a good twist is going to drop certain thematic elements in the beginning so that the twist means something later on.
So you can put it together, yeah.
In some movies, it's not even like oh well, it's possible, so I went and did it. It's like they're so heavy-handed that you can see where this is going, and like I say, back to Us, like that was the only thing that it could have been. Like after that scene, it's like it has to be this. There's no way. I don't see how anybody was surprised by that, if we're being honest. And there's just some, and I mean, there's dumb stuff. Like when I watched Devil with my wife, she thought she was being funny. She points. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's where they're all trapped in the elevator. She points to the old lady and says, "That's her," because she thought she was being funny. And that's the movie. They just picked the person who's least likely, and that's her. But I don't know. I'm not just trying to figure it out. It's just. I think movies should be more subtle than they are. I understand if they think like the audiences are dumb and they got to beat them over the head with stuff, but I don't know. If it's gonna be a twist, I want to be surprised by the twist. And trailers kind of ruin that now. That's why it's hard to watch a trailer for a funny movie because nowadays they put every single joke in the trailer. Like I can't remember the last time I saw a funny movie that I saw a trailer where it's like they left any jokes out of the trailer.
Yeah, it does seem like the best stuff tends.
I don't think Nope has any things like that. It's a lot of just imagery. It takes place in the desert kind of thing. There's a line in it like that really stands out, and it's Daniel Kaluuya. He's like, what do they call a bad miracle? You know, what do you call that kind of thing?
Yeah. I think that becomes the tagline now. I think that I've seen that on some like marketing stuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that. Megan had told me that it was coming out, and I'm like, I wonder if I can make it long enough to go into that blind. I know his stuff is so hyped up that I don't know if I could avoid seeing things for it, but
also maybe it's not supposed to be a twist. Maybe it's just supposed to be a movie about what you see, you know? It doesn't have to be a twist. Don't put that on it, and then...
That's what I'm hoping. It's not a twist. Yeah. But I think to this point, he has showed that the twist is his thing. I'm hoping he breaks from that, but... If he puts a twist in this, then he's just cemented. He's just a twist guy, but...
Well, if Nope is on the lean end of a trailer, like Multiverse of Madness is a lot going on in it. People have really been delving into every fucking frame of that
Talk
thing.
about giving up too much, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm not gonna watch again or dig into too much.
I saw it during the Super Bowl, and there's a voice cameo in it, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" You know, like, so I wish I could have experienced that.
I read an article about that. It's supposed to be what, Charles Xavier? Or...
Yeah, it's clearly Patrick Stewart, and and he's probably going to be Charles Xavier. I don't know what capacity he's going to be. A lot of people are speculating. There's a group called the Illuminati. That Doctor Strange might, meet.
Do you think there's any chance, like people have pretty much said, like it's a foregone conclusion. Okay, it's got to be.
Oh, they've pretty much, like, I don't know, just from the trailer, they're able to like, oh, well, that's,
Is there any chance that's a misdirect? You think that just like people got it wrong, or it's not?
It's a lot of specific ass misdirects. Like, it's a lot of stuff that seems to lead to this. I mean,
it's the multiverse. He's breaking walls, traveling.
Well, to be fair, this is the same, like, to expect that much of a misdirect from the same people who, like, showed a scene from Spider-Man and then just erased the characters they didn't want you to see but left everything else the same. Like, those are the same people doing misdirects? Like, I don't
think they're going to, like, do a fake out on Professor Xavier. Like, I don't know. Like,
Gotcha.
That'd be weird, but there's so much going. Just in the poster alone, people see other X-Men. They see characters that haven't been introduced. They see, a lot of stuff going on.
I do think Kayla's been proven correct that What If, like watching What If, is going to be a kind of essential to what's going on in this movie.
Well, we'll see if it's essential, but there's definite through lines that are happening.
Definitely no more.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention one more, Men by patron saint of the pod, Alex Garland. Jesse Buckley starring in that one, who was just a standout in The Lost Daughter. That's a trailer that's on the super lean side, in my opinion.
That's a tease of a tease kind of trailer. It's really cool. It's just kind of her in like a tunnel, right, or something.
Basically,
like
a couple different scenes, but that's the primary like location. She's kind of speaking into a tunnel and not expecting to hear things back, or maybe expecting to hear things back, and getting back something other than what she expected. So just creepy, just super creepy. I highly recommend if you want to it's like a minute 20 or something.
Was there a date with that? Or was it just coming soon or something? Or?
I don't think there was a date.
Man,
I don't think
I'd like
so.
to see that this year.
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard of it.
I had heard of it on another pod. I think on the Big Picture from The Ringer. And that was...
It seemed like I heard about it, and then the trailer was out, like the teaser trailer was out, so...
Yeah, so...
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty cool. In that same vein, let's talk a little bit about the Oscar noms that came out. Mentioned earlier, definitely some snubs, kind of a weird list. Right off the bat, The Power of the Dog, I think, has 12 nominations. A movie that...
Walk away with 12. From what I've heard so far.
Yeah, it might be sweeping, might be doing some work, and that's disappointing. I know Kayla and I, at least, really, I'm sure we're the first to make the joke, Power of the Slog.
Gross.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It's a slow one. It's a slow,
like Power of the Benedict. That's what it is.
He's deserving. Is he up for Best Actor? I think I have that here. Yeah.
He's kind of looks like he might get the gold. Just as far as like hype level goes for this movie. Yeah, I started it. I still need to finish that. Your guys' review really didn't sell me on on wanting to finish it. But overall, for the best picture list, there's like it's a pretty diverse list. There's a lot going on, a lot of different genres here.
Yeah, so for Best Picture, we
Stuff
have
that I'm excited for.
Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So you got like a musical, you've got a black and white movie, you've got a foreign film in Drive My Car, you've got a sci-fi epic in Dune, thriller kind of dark Nightmare Alley. I mean, you're right. There's a lot there. What early thoughts? I've seen. Let's see. What have we seen? We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5 of these so far. So half the list. For me, so far, it's Don't Look Up, but that's only half the list. What do you think, Kayla?
As like what I think we'll take it.
Yeah, well, we've seen Don't Look Up, we've seen Dune, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, and Power of the Dog so far.
So you're asking which one out of those that I like?
Yeah.
The one that I'd say I kind of want to see the most would be King Richard.
Good.
I think that one, like, just because it has like a dramatic, more inspirational, is more of Oscar, suit. Dune is beautiful, but I don't think it'll take Best Picture. I can't really pick because I didn't love any of the ones that we've seen. I'm having a tough time. Didn't love them. Licorice Pizza would be my favorite out of the ones that we've seen, but still don't think it's like the Oscar Best Picture.
Yeah, you've got some catching up to do, Mike. I know on the Best Picture race.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see like Drive My Car, which is coming to HBO early March. I want to see Belfast, which I could rent it now for like $20. I'm waiting for that to drop down just a little bit, or to just come to a service straight up. Coda, I've heard is very good, and I don't know how I'm going to watch it because that's like an Apple joint. I'm probably not going to sign up for.
Come on
Apple.
over, buddy.
Yeah, might have to. I give myself a veto. This is my rule for Best Picture. One movie I don't want to watch, and that's going to be West Side Story. I'm not going to watch that.
Oh man, Spielberg, come on.
Yeah, I'm not an Ansel Elgort guy. I hate him. I really don't like him. I don't like him, and he's like the main character of the fucking movie. So far, like it's Licorice Pizza for me. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, that's probably not going to win. It's looking like it's just going to be Power of the Dog. So
yeah,
we'll see. Aaron, did you check any of these out?
I've seen Dune, and I wanted to see Belfast.
That's Kenneth Branagh's like black and white, Irish and a coming of age story, I think, kind of thing.
Right. I saw some stuff where it looked good. The rest of them, I'm not really. I'm not interested at all in West Side Story.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly interested in King Richard because I think it's really weird to have two of the best athletes in the world and then do a movie about their dad.
Oh, thank you. I think that too. I say that all the time.
Like then the tagline, everything's about how, like, when he pushed them and stuff. But like, let's not forget, like, you can be pushed all you want, but you're not going to be the best in the world just based on your dad telling you to do something. Like, I think it just seems like a really weird decision to make.
I agree.
To be like, here's the top of the tennis of like pretty much all time, but their coach is pretty cool too. Like, where's that Michael Jordan movie?
Right.
Like,
I think if you watch it, it makes sense because he makes so many weird decisions. Like he is kind of like a mad king with how he literally like tells his wife one day, we need to have 2 more kids. Like he has this whole thing planned out. It's really odd, and I was glad they recognized the actress who plays his wife in the movie. Her name is I might butcher this, but I'm going to Anjune Elise. I might have got that right,
I
actually.
think it's Anjanae Ellis, I think.
Ellis, sorry. Dang, I
yeah.
screwed up the easy part.
Yeah, I think you got her because I think it's Anjanae and then it's Ellis, I think.
Oh, I like her in Lovecraft Country.
Oh wow, because she's very good. She plays the Venus and Serena's mom.
I did not put that together. Wow. Yeah, she was great
she's
in Lovecraft.
I was just looking at that right now. She's Hippolyta.
Oh, wow.
She's
I may watch that movie now. So.
And I talking about snubs, I thought John Barenthal got snubbed. He's the best part of the movie, I thought, for me. He's very good. As their like pro tennis coach that they wind up getting. He's like, oh, he's doing this like Wisconsin accent. It's very good.
I'm excited to see that because that's definitely like the Jesse Plemons nod in Best Supporting Actor. No, thank you.
Yeah, it seems like that was
Dog.
Not worth it, right? Yeah,
I literally tried to look up I want to know how many minutes Jesse Plemons is in Power of the Dog because it's not a lot.
Right.
It is very few.
I think I might have seen the bulk of his in the 20 minutes that I watched.
That's it. Because then he only makes like a couple appearances. He travels a lot.
I had text Mike about I'm a little afraid that Jesse Plemons, the shine has come off because I've seen him now in Power of the Dog, the 20 minutes he's in it, and Antlers. I also watched Antlers recently, and he's in that quite a bit more and not doing it. I don't know. I hope not. I like Jesse a lot, but
I liked him in Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, he's the best part of Jungle Cruise.
You're right. We're back on the Jesse Plemons Jungle Cruise.
Just a playful, fun Nazi in Jungle Cruise.
Oh,
did you like Antlers?
I thought it was okay. I liked the lore that they went into. It's kind of a Native American supernatural movie. Yeah. So that's cool. It was more fine than that was a like it, not a love it. You know.
I think the movie would have been so great. I just think the main character was really unlikable.
Sure.
I don't know what it was like her mannerisms or honestly, I don't think I've ever thought she was that good of an actress. I don't know. She was just really unlikable. And the little boy, I think was probably the best part of that whole movie.
He was a standout, without a doubt. And he had a lot to do. Like, he had to be weird and emaciated. And, like, I feel like they literally didn't feed this poor child.
Right. Well, like, he did so well, like, walking a line between having to be really, like, shy and not talk to people because people can't discover what he lives like. And to also play a kid who's, like, wanting more, like when she's with him at the donut shop where he clearly is trying to give in to being a kid. I think that's a really hard part for a kid to act, and he just killed it. And then he was in the movie with everybody else who just kind of like was like phoning it in almost. I thought it was okay.
I think you're right, Aaron. Antlers should be up for Best Picture over Power of the Dog. I'm gonna write the Academy. I think you're right.
Right, I'm like Jesse Plemons, whatever. It doesn't matter, just as long as he's in it. It's nominated.
Right.
Kerry Russell.
I was so glad to see Jessie Buckley and Olivia Colman both get recognized for Lost Daughter, but then I see Nightmare Alley up in Best Picture. I'm like, why isn't Lost Daughter in that slot? Nightmare Alley fucking sucked. Like why?
Oh, I don't know about that.
God. That is just such a boring ass, like, failed HBO, like, weird drama about a carnival, like, from 20 years ago.
Like, HBO has been trying really hard to get me to watch it. Like, every time I do anything, it's like, wait, this is here, watch this. And I'm just, didn't look good.
I don't know. I kind of dug Nightmare Alley. It's not a love. It's a like, but
so long.
It's long and it's
fucking movie.
And you got two parts. There's the city part and there's the carnival part, and it's long. It's drawn out. It is a slog in a way, but it's I find it way more entertaining than The Power of the Dog. Even
Damn, that makes me really not want to watch Power.
oh man, I just think I don't know. I think there's some good performances, and I love the set direction on Nightmare Alley. I think like from the carnival stuff to once Bradley Cooper gets into the city and all that, like the office that he's in, the psychiatrist's office. It's just so cool. It reminded me of BioShock. It was very much like, oh yeah, this is the same dude who did the Shape of Water. Like, okay, cool. He's got like, that aesthetic down.
Diet Guillermo, though, like compared to like Pan's Labyrinth or Shape of Water, like I don't know, just visually it didn't just seem real sterile compared to his other stuff, even like Hellboy, stuff like that.
It's not as fantastical by any means. I mean, that's the thing. You don't have monsters and magic and all those great things that he does.
I think
the weird carnival part is only like 10 minutes.
No, it's half of the movie. It's
the like weird visually like Guillermo del Toro feel is like only like 10 minutes worth. Otherwise, then it's just.
I thought you meant the carnival part. Sorry. Yeah.
The parts of the carnival that are fantastical and stuff like that are few and far between.
Yeah, like that's what I think of when I think of like Guillermo del Toro, like gonna be visually outstanding, and it was just kind of visually grungy.
It didn't even seem grungy to me. Like it didn't even have that. It just seemed low budgety, kind of like a series kind of thing. Like I don't know. I didn't
like it.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, hopefully you weight my opinion over these two chuckleheads.
But I for what, this Nightmare Alley?
Yeah.
I watched the trailer and it didn't look good. That's why I didn't watch it. I don't know. I might at some point watch it, but it's really hard for me to watch stuff. I have trouble focusing. Like I'll want to watch. I'll have like a whole stuff to watch list of stuff, and then I'll go and watch like 4 seasons of a show I've seen 1,000 times, and then I'll watch a movie. Then I'll go watch all of Supernatural, and then that takes a few months because it's 15 seasons, and
then you'll platinum Pokemon and
right, yeah, just what I do.
The shinies.
Well, I play stuff. I watch stuff on my phone. What do they have it playing while I play video games? That's how I finish things and I play games.
That's how I do a lot of my podcasts.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do
love a good podcast.
I don't think I listen to the same podcasts as you. Mine are all horror related or true crime, but
hey, you always need a good game to listen to a podcast too. It's awesome.
Yeah. That I'm gonna say, Mike, did you see Antlers?
I haven't. I almost started it the other night. And just
the little boy we're talking about that did a good job plays Harmon in season 1 of.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He only says meep meep in.
Does he have a hunchback in real life?
He's got a weird body. I don't know what's wrong, but he's got something.
He's an incredible physical actor. I mentioned like that. It seems like they just like didn't feed him because he plays kind of like an abused child.
He looks kind of like that in Righteous Gemstones. I think that just might be his. I think that's his stature.
Yeah,
they hired him. They're like, you look like nobody's feeding you. Get in here.
He's good. He's really good.
God, the scene where Walton Goggins' Uncle Baby Billy makes him, he's pretending to play catch with him. He's like, "Go long, boy." Psych, and he doesn't throw him the ball.
He just goes in the house. That was my favorite thing in the world. Oh God!
Watch Gemstones. Everybody, it's pretty good.
It grabs you like from the first like few minutes where they're just baptizing people in a wave pool and it turns on, and they're all trying to figure out how to say stop in Chinese. It's amazing. It's just such a good show.
Ning hao, Daddy.
Right.
Just to wrap up our Oscar talk, we will be having an Oscar-focused pod. We're going to have guest superstar Katie back on the pod for some Oscar predictions in the near future once we've gotten a chance to check out the rest of the Oscar noms. So be looking for that. let's talk some post-apocalyptic stuff. Aaron, I know you've been chomping at the bit. Horizon. How many hours you got in?
I don't know. Probably. Here, let me see. It tells me, right?
Yeah, get that drill bit out of your mouth. Get it out.
So Horizon Forbidden West released this past Friday. It's the 20th today, so it released on the 18th, I believe. The sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn, one of my favorite games of all time, and I think Aaron put it on his top 5, I believe, on his list. Did you have that on your top 5 also, Kayla, if I remember?
I think so.
I've got 14 hours and 2 minutes.
Wow, I did not think we would be beating you, but I think we're up over 15 hours. That's wild.
I spent 14 hours at my son's
true.
Robotics competition yesterday. Like,
you didn't get one of them like portable TV?
I told Megan, I said I'm bringing the PS5. It's at a school. I'm sure they've got a TV for when teachers are hungover. Like, I want to.
Yeah.
Aaron just like one of those TV carts, like pushing it in, like the substitute teacher.
We're gonna have a movie today, guys. I'm just in a gym full of like robotics nerds. I don't think they would get the competition done.
Horizon fits well at a robotics.
I think so. I think it would have been the right thing to do.
Right. To distract all the kids from something they worked hard for. That's
I didn't
kinda
feel
dig
this.
This is the future.
Like this is what it leads to if you teach these robots to think for themselves.
We're kind of saying you're a shit parent, Aaron, that you didn't do this, I think.
I try telling my kids that every day. They don't believe me.
But what are your initial impressions of the sequel to Zero Dawn?
I love it. There's some stuff where I can already see, like, I don't want to say the original story is believable. There's no fantasy story where you can actually believe this stuff could happen. But, like, you're a person, you got a bow, you shoot the bows. And this, it's, like, that's still the case, but now there's also, like, abilities. Like, you can boost your critical rating by pushing this if you unlock the ability for it, or if you can shoot the arrows in the air and have them come down on the person. So I think that I mean, I'm happy they expanded the combat, but I think it takes a little bit from, being immersed in it for me a little bit. But I do love the quality of life improvements they made, like sending things back to a stash instead of like, I've got 3,000 pieces of Ridgewood, I got to do something with it and go back and do it. But now it just automatically, once you get over 200, it goes right back. And I do have close to like 2,000 or 3,000 pieces of it right now.
Wow!
Because I can't walk past anything collectible without picking it up. So I just run around fields picking up berries and.
Heard there's quite a list of collectibles inside things and stuff to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've there's these towers you climb to get these lenses or whatever from old satellites. I haven't really questioned why there are lenses in satellites, but I've already collected all of those. Found it wasn't worth it because you don't really get much for it, but I collected them. It's completed. But yeah, it's pretty great so far. I like it a lot. I wish the Watchers were still pervasive, and they're not. So.
Oh, the Watchers aren't. Oh, darn.
I'm sure they'll come up because I mean I've only run into 2 species from the first game. The Scrappers and the Chargers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, from Zero Dawn. Because so far all the other ones have been new, like this like weasel thing that burrows.
Oh, cool.
It looks like a Watcher. I keep trying to shoot it in the eye, but trust me, that does not kill it in one hit.
I think it's a mongoose, I want to say.
Isn't it?
Just
I don't
because
know,
it comes about at a part where there's like some like
Snakes.
snake as well, and I think like, oh, okay, I get what they're doing here.
Right. I don't know. I thought it was an otter, but like it digs. So I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like a weasel.
Yeah.
How about you, Kayla? What you think? Initial impressions?
I love it. I'm not quite as extreme as Aaron, but I do enjoy like going and exploring the map and getting all the question marks and collecting things, but not to a point where I won't pass it up if it's too frustrating. Oh no. But I think it's really fluid and fun, and I like all the weapons. I love setting traps and like taking on
Oh, yeah,
the
sure.
like herds. We'll see where the story's going. We've recently pushed the main story forward, so things are happening.
Yeah. I haven't pushed too far. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't talk about here where I'm at. But
Right.
what I really like is I know when we talked about what we think is going to be in a previous episode, and I said I really hope they expand the melee combat, and they really have, and I love that. Like it used to be, you can just mash on R1 for quick attack, and then R2 if you want to knock them down.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now it's like there's different combinations, and if you do a certain combination, you'll jump off of them, so you can shoot them, or you can jump off of them and jump over them. Break armor, like there's all kinds of cool stuff. Like it makes
Charge up, yeah.
It makes it that part. I still don't. It seems so clunky to use that aspect of it. The whole charge
Hasn't
up
been very fluid, yeah.
I think the issue is you don't get a lot of these melee things until you unlock stuff in the skill tree. So like I think the things that make it more intuitive are probably a little higher cost skill point wise further down. But right now that whole charge up thing seems it's harder to use than it is useful. So I just don't do it. But it's really cool. Like just like the whole like if you're fighting like and you're like kind of surrounded, you can just hit them and jump off of them and run away, or you can jump back and like if you pull your bow in the air as time slows down and shoot them. It makes it so like melee is such as a big a factor as a bow, and that's a lot of fun.
I'm like 50-50 on the new skill tree. So it's like a super expanded kind of skill tree. There's like 6 or 7 different almost like specializations that it's broken up into. So you can almost like spec your character like more like an RPG almost. Like there is a whole skill tree that is just like melee combat and everything in that. So you can kind of go hard if you wanted to on like, okay, I'm a melee based character, or there's like a hunter one which seems to be more ranged. Then there's I forget all of the names. There's one that seems to be more medical based or whatever else, things that increase your use of potions and things of that nature. So you get a lot of skill points just for doing things out in the world, completing quests, opening up different areas, whatnot, and just gaining XP. And it definitely allows you to really go hard in one kind of category if you want. I'm someone who tries my best to kind of like be well-rounded and stuff, and I don't know if it's working out for our Aloy, but
I'm sort of having that issue too. Like what I've been doing is just like I'm getting everything that costs 1 skill point, everything that costs 2 skill points, just so it's even, except for the Machine Master, because I don't ride anything like ever. It seems like you miss all the picking up stuff if you ride stuff. So I never ride anything. But what I really don't like is like how I said with like the melee combat. Like there's so many moves and stuff you could do, but you have to unlock them.
Yeah.
Like I think the skill tree should be for augmenting things and improving things. Like make it do more damage or make it do this or that but like to like literally say I can't do like 3 quick hits and then like a strong attack in a row until I unlock something seems kind of silly.
I will say one thing that I'd probably recommend is pushing the story a little bit further. We've noticed that there are some like kind of Metroidvania type aspects to it where there's, let's say, tools that you get as part of the main story that you can go. I mean, from the beginning, it seems like the world, or at least up to a point where the world opens up, you can kind of go just about anywhere. It seems it doesn't seem like you're locked out, but then you are, because you'll find a cave or something with let's say a door or a whatever, where you can't really get into it unless Aloy is just like, oh, I don't think I have like the thing to get in here kind of thing. So it's a little frustrating in that sense, like spending maybe a half hour like climbing up a tower, going through a sunken mine or something, and then getting to a point where like, oh yeah, I can't get there.
You gotta get your way back out. Like,
Yeah, it's a little. So I think my recommendation now, like having done that a couple times, is like, yeah, I should probably push this main story forward a little bit, get some more tools, and then go back.
So, do you feel like you've seen a good chunk of the story?
No, we're like 15-ish hours in.
That's so long. What do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard
the story's kind of
okay.
I don't want to call
it. What I was kind of getting at. I want to know if
I don't want to call
it. It would be.
I don't want to call it lazy because I am enjoying it, but like so much of the beginning of the story is, why don't you have these weapons anymore? Oh, I don't know. I lost them at some point.
Oh, I thought that like
why don't you have this anymore? Well, I don't know. It just happened at some point. Like they don't. Like she's just like, oh, it must have happened. Like, and I get they have to explain it away because you can't start off with like an arsenal and unbeatable armor and all that. But
no, I don't think any game has found a good way to solve that issue. Metroid normally just has Samus get hit by something and she loses all her shit. Like so.
Well, even that would have been nice. And this, it was just like, okay, I will accept.
But like, I know we brought up like just how good the story was in Horizon 1, and it wraps up pretty well, and worried like what they're gonna do in this one. It's normal. It's a lot of just tribal stuff now, right? Like,
so I gotta say that where me and Kayla just got to, we just saw a big story beat. Up until that point, I was very much a little afraid that, like, man, exactly what you just said, like, the first game wrapped up really, really cleanly, I felt. I really liked it. Where's this one going to go? I don't know where it's going to go, but something just happened where it's like flipping the script a little bit. Like I'm really intrigued at big what the fuck type moment.
Oh, okay.
And from what I've heard, it's like if you mainline the story, it's like 30 to 35 hours of just story, but there's just so much. Like the way me and Kayla play it is I'll play a couple story missions, and if I feel like if we're getting to a point, and Aloy will almost say it too sometimes, she'll say like, yeah, now that I've gotten, whatever tool, maybe I can go explore some other stuff. You kind of get to points where there's a lull in the story and you should go out into the world a little bit, and then Kayla takes over and does all the fetch quests and stuff like that. So that's why our time, I think, with it is so high. Like, we're maybe 7 hours into the story and 7 or 8 hours into like climbing up towers and doing stuff, whatever.
I'm probably like 2 hours into the main story, and then 12 hours into. So like, I play like the opposite of the way they do. I do I'll get a new mission. I'll look at my quests. I will do every single quest. Not the main quest. I will look in the area I'm already in, and anything that has a question mark or says unknown, I go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I finish it, and then after I can't do anything else, then I do the next main quest, and then I do now everything else that's available to me. Like
kind of how we do, but we just pass the controller back and forth.
But if I get like a new thing, then I go back and like those walls that I assume at some point I'm going to be able to finally break through them. I will just go back and find every single one that I've missed, which the game is nice enough to put them on the map for you.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's how I go thing to thing. One thing I did want to talk about is the balancing on it. They've definitely fixed issues that were in the first one. Because in the first one, when you like expand your pouches on arrows and stuff like that, I had most of those like maxed out before I left the first area because all of the animals are everywhere. Here, that's not really the case. Like some of the animals you can't get until later.
Yeah.
Because you got to hunt them and get certain bones or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like that's well, that's I do like maxing it out. Like it makes more sense than letting me have like 60 arrows at a time early in the game, but I
think they're doing that pretty well in a lot of aspects. The same thing with like the parts you get off of the robots as well.
Yeah.
we've only run into maybe 6 different robots at this point. And it looks like there might be 30 or maybe even more unique creatures and stuff like that. And like the rarity of the drops and stuff seems to be balanced pretty well to where like it's going to happen organically. You're going to fight enough of them at some point where you're just going to get this rare drop off of one or something, but it almost doesn't behoove you to just like farm or whatever else.
Right.
Yeah. So,
because I spent a good portion of my time playing this one. You're probably gonna be sad about this, Eric. Just chasing raccoons around, because in Zero Dawn, you needed like a bunch of like raccoon bones to max out your pouches and stuff. I'm like, there's raccoons everywhere. I'm just gonna chase them all over the place. And then I've needed like raccoon parts like twice, so I don't.
Onto him.
Yeah.
Kayla's been killing her fair share of raccoons. So
Yeah.
after
Rats,
the,
birds.
playing Portal
Turkeys.
2 and then this, I think, our marriage is at an all-time low at this point.
Damn.
Oh.
News to me. I didn't know that.
Well.
We'll get the papers soon, so it's cool.
Oh, so that's Horizon Forbidden West. We're going to have much more on that, I'm sure, going forward. Aaron's going to put no less than 200 hours into that.
For sure.
But we better do it quick because next weekend is Elden Ring weekend. So I know that's Mike will be a big part of that.
I'll try to get as much in as I can between release and the pod. Try to beat it.
I got it at like 11 p.m. the
Mm.
night before it was released.
Awesome.
So I played it like an hour, but I was so tired, I just went to sleep. Then I
Yeah.
played it the next day, which was what, Friday?
Yeah.
And then I had to do the thing yesterday, so I'm sure over the next couple days, while you guys are doing adult things and I'm doing nothing else.
I'm going to try my best, like just because I also want to like not be too far behind on Elden Ring, so
Right.
we'll see.
I want to get in.
Right.
Was the opening real long for Horizon?
No, not really. I mean,
Oh,
it's
depends.
a lot. It's a lot of. It's basically the tutorial. Teach you how to play.
People
I feel like it was like 2
people make
hours.
it seem like it's super long. I saw someone tweet that you could defeat or you could finish Resident Evil 8 in the time that it takes.
But I think it was like 2
Yeah.
hours before the like title screen came.
Oh, okay.
Is it really? Yeah,
then
I really.
also-
You were
Yeah.
doing stuff the whole time.
Yeah,
I really
you are.
liked it. I like.
Oh, okay, good. I've
I
heard
think
people
it-
complain about it. I just wanted your take.
It really depends on what you consider the opening, because I could make the argument that like when you get into the Forbidden West, which is like when the complete open world is available for you, that is kind of like that took us. And we did some side shit. You're able to do a lot of side shit, but that might have been 10 hours, Kayla.
Yeah, it was a while.
I
To
just
the west?
got that.
Yeah, to get.
But you
You're
could
still-
have.
You're still in Karja for.
They did that shit in the first game. Like, took way too long.
Well, that's
Oh,
it teaches you how to play on a small playing field before unleashing you on the world. Is pretty much what it is.
And it's optional too, so that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like you could go, like there's maybe only
Mainline it.
5 story missions to open up the open world.
Right, and the story missions are all go here, go here, go here. Like it's not.
right. So you could go from turning that game on to open world in like 2 hours, probably, like pretty easily if you did no side stuff whatsoever. But like Aaron said, it's tutorializing an open world, which like I don't know that anyone needs, but like you have a small open world at the beginning where you can go and do little side stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, well, the first hour is like a linear level. There's nowhere to
Yeah.
go but forward.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And then, but once it's like a mini open world where you're in this little valley, and then they open the gates, and it's where you get the whole map, and it's all covered in white, and you can just explore.
All right.
I
It's
would
good. I like
say I think like once you do pick it up and stuff, I would mainline it. Like I don't know that I got personally anything out of like going and exploring. Kayla, but Aaron likes that shit, and so does Kayla. So like, that's just not the way I play, games. I'm in on the story, and there's been some cool little like set piece stuff too. That is intriguing.
The first game, like it might have been 10 hours in where I really clicked for me. Like I remember getting that first like hologram tape about like where you see her ancestor for the first time, like in that office building or whatever, and that's when it really.
Do you guys do like the where it used to be you just had to find the right angle and then you got to see the little vision,
Yeah, I remember those.
You've done one, yeah.
Now it's cool because they give you like a partial image and you got to move around until it fits something in the real world, and then you get it. I like that a lot better.
Cool.
It's real cool. It's a cool look, and Aloy does a good job when you say the quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
There's her inner monologue, the stuff that she says. Like if you get to a place, she does some really good like tutorialing or really good like telling you that you're kind of going in the wrong direction or that you don't have a tool to use or whatnot, so that you don't necessarily waste your time. I really dig those little things, like her little comments.
I looked at the first flying ones you come across, and like she was like, "Man, that'd be really easy to defeat those if I had some frost weapons, and I don't." So I tried to fight them, and yeah, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I just kept shooting them and then hitting them with the spear. That's all. But I like it a lot. It seems like it's very much. If you like the first one, the gameplay is it's not completely different, but it seems like they definitely went out of their way to fix things that weren't great about the first one. So
Nice.
I thought with us talking Horizon and the post-apocalypse that game franchise takes place in, we should just talk about, just to wrap this pod up, our favorite post-apocalyptic media. So anything that really stands out, because playing Horizon and I watched some recap videos of the first and everything else, I'm struck. I remember when the first one was coming out and I saw the original trailers, some of the original gameplay. The first thing that gets you is like, okay, there's these tribal people and then there's robot dinosaurs or robot animals or whatever else. I thought it looked a little weird. Like, I'm like, what's the setup for this? But incredibly unique, like a really interesting world. And once you play that game and play Forbidden West, I'm just struck with how like unique its post-apocalypse is, its version of like what the world would look like. It's 1,000 years in the future or whatever else. So I thought it's a good place to like kick off a conversation of like unique or interesting post-apocalypses that we've seen, because there's a million of them. Like there are a dime a dozen in TV shows, movies, video games. But like, what has really stood out to the cast? Like, how about you, Aaron?
We'll just go more on the Horizon thing. What I really like is that they don't remember what life was like. So much of these post-apocalyptic things, it's always them trying to survive in this new world. But to these people, that's the only world they know. And everything she says about the world was like, it just flabbergasts them. And most of them don't accept it. So I think that's a really cool aspect of this. Probably one of my favorite, like aside like movies, because I know I'm also like a big fan of other games like Fallout and all that. But like my favorite movie that's probably like that is a movie with Martin Freeman called Cargo. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's really good.
See the trailer.
Basically these people get infected and turn into basically 48 hours later they're infected with rage or whatever weird reason they came up with. And they attack things and they bite things, and that's how it passes along. But it takes 48 hours. Like there's you put up this bracelet on and it counts down. It basically lets you know because there's no cure, but it counts down and lets you know how much time you have before you effectively just have to kill yourself. But Martin Freeman in the beginning of the movie gets bitten while he has his baby daughter with him. So he now has 2 days to find someone to take care of his child before he has to effectively kill himself, otherwise he'll kill her. It's a really good movie. It's an Australian movie. It's really good.
To check that one out.
How about you, Kayla? Anything that stands out, unique, or just any post-apocalypse that you just really liked?
The obvious game one, of course, is The Last of Us. That one's just so beautifully done. Another kind of unique one, though, that I think of would be Mad Max. Kind of a different take on not just a zombie apocalypse. That's just like the first thing that comes to mind for me and when that term comes up. But at least the most recent Mad Max movie that I've seen, the only one, is fantastic. Solid 10.
Yeah, Fury Road is just rewatched that the other day, or like
yeah, that's why it was on my mind too.
I think the cool thing is they like put these little like breadcrumbs in there of like how the economy works and shit like that. Like it's just a weird world. Like in the Mad Max world, there's even like a dude who's like doing accounting in the movie. There's a whole scene where he's like, "Oh, we've used," and they have like weird words for things like there's a bullet farm, guzzling, and we got to go to the bullet farm to get the bullets, and just like it's such a that's a great pull, Kayla. It's just so weird. It's a weird fucking world, and the movie's fucking great. And the old Mad Max are pretty cool. Like Thunderdome is a lot of fun. I like that one. And how about you, Mike?
This might be my favorite genre of thing. Like I don't know. It just always kind of works for me. Even stuff like the Book of Eli and kind of mid-tier type stuff. I really enjoy.
I had that on my list. Book of Eli.
I love the Book of Eli.
Yeah, I do too. I'm glad to hear that. I like it a lot. But two things that really stand out to me. One is very recent. That's Station 11. It kind of reminds me of Horizon, where it is kind of a post-apocalypse, where it doesn't take 1,000 years though. It like right away they just like, fuck, we got to like let's restart. You know, like kind of. It's not as dire as my other choice, and it's kind of people figure it out and they move on and they get to year 20, and things are kind of way farther than any other like post apocalypse thing I've seen like that. And my other one is The Road. The movie with Viggo Mortensen, and it's just a grim, dark, real like kind of journey with this father and son, like trying to, it's very Last of Us. It's very, that kind of style of story. And I don't know. They don't explain to you what kind of happened. One of my favorite scenes is where Charlize Theron plays Viggo's wife in the movie, and you see flashbacks of kind of when this thing is hitting and the kind of mania that happens with her, and she just dips. She just goes out into the darkness, and just like, like who knows what happened to her? Anything, like the most terrible thing could have happened, and that's really that movie. There's a few like slices of like, they find like an underground bunker that's just filled with fucking food and shit. They get like a day of normalcy, and really, really love that one.
Yeah, I think another one with just a really awesome just setting or interesting, where it takes place is Snowpiercer. Now the Snowpiercer expanded universe, because there's a TV show as well. But like, I've only seen the movie, and just if you're not familiar with that, it's just a perpetual train going on the tracks because the world has kind of frozen over, and how an economy, how society works on a train that is the last bastion of humanity. It's kind of similar to another one I had on my list of like the Judge Dredd universe. Whether you're talking about the original Judge Dredd or the movie Dredd, like people are now just in these mega cities and there's nothing out in the wasteland, and when you just put people smashed together, kind of what happens in those type of situations, and the haves and the have-nots and all of that. So I love those settings where you take, because so many of these post-apocalypse, like even The Road, like really cool, or Children of Men or Book of Eli, they kind of like, it's a little cut and paste of just like, oh yeah, everything's, or even like Fury Road in setting, just like, oh, deserts and shit like that, and no crops, and everything's just gray and nasty and gross and whatnot. When you can like put a story like this in a unique setting, it's always a little cool. Like, so Snowpiercer's definitely that for me.
I like that you brought up Children of Men, because that's like a pre-apocalypse.
I was just about to say that same exact thing.
And I love that almost as much as post-apocalypse, because I like when shit goes down.
He doesn't like the apocalypse itself, just before and after.
No, I want to.
He's not a fan of Armageddon.
I want to see that too. Third place is Apocalypse. I think that scene in Judgment Day where Sarah Connor's on the chain link. I like seeing that too. So.
In that same vein of like a pre-apocalypse, The Leftovers as well on the television. I mean, what is it? 1% of the population just disappears, or is it 3%? I forget exactly.
I think it's 3%. I think it might be that much. Yeah.
And how society deals with that in a lot of apocalyptic ways, and
Yeah. Leftovers is great too. I'm trying to think of the first time I saw a post-apocalypse, and it might have been Tank Girl. I don't know if any of you've seen.
Oh man,
I have seen Tank Girl.
That was my introduction, and I dug that kind of whole thing. Like, oh man, like everything's kind of just fucked up and shit, and she finds a tank. Fuck yeah, she runs shit now because she has a fucking tank.
You mentioned T2. I think it was T2 for me, at least. Like a
glimpse of one. Yeah, that's probably my real one too. Yeah, just seeing the robot step on the skull and shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's seared into my like 8-year-old brain or whatever.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else? We don't want to snub any of these post-apocalypse.
Fallout 3 is just a fun. Just you get to explore the whole a post-apocalypse. Like you get the cool town that's run by an idiot or something over here. Oh fuck, there's weird vampires under here. You get the military government that's taking control over here. You get to see the whole gamut with Fallout 3. I think it's really cool.
Two more that come to my mind would be A Quiet Place. I loved that. It was a new creative monster for me that was terrifying. I enjoyed following the family, and now with Quiet Place Part 2, seeing more of the world or how little there is of it. And then Zombieland, just like a nostalgic fun pick.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I love Zombieland.
Good time. Yeah, probably the most fun of the zombie.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
I gotta mention more. I can go.
Yeah, but Zombieland is the true post-apocalypse. It's been years. People have kind of figured out how to live with the zombies. Shaun of the Dead is as it's happening. But hey, yeah, both are great. I'm not gonna diss Shaun of the Dead, but good pick on Zombieland.
I love speaking of zombie movies and this it's kind of a genre within a genre where two people are so far away that they're kind of communicating by signs or something like that. Quiet Place kind of does that too. Mm-hmm. And in Dawn, I think the remake of Dawn of the Dead, there's the two guys on the roof that with the sniper rifle, and they're kind of killed a couple over here. How many, and they're just they become kind of friends,
Yeah.
The blood scene in that is really, really good. Because they're communicating through signs and shit. Yeah. And I think it's the gun shop owner or whatever gets bit or gets whatever, and he just smears blood on a poster board to show hey man, this is
right. I forgot.
Game over here.
Yeah. So. I love when they do stuff like that. I like that. World building helps so much in the post-apocalypse, economies. Stuff like that, I eat all that stuff up. Book of Eli, when he shows up to town and he's bartering with him just to get a fucking charge on his iPod and shit like that.
When he asks for water and they call it the good stuff, even though they got all the alcohol there.
Right. Yeah, and Fallout 3 too, like the whole survival aspect. Like there's dirty water, there's clean water, and there's ways to get rid of the
Yeah.
radiation, and it just love all that stuff. I've often fantasized about living in a situation like that, and like whether you could do it or not. I've reached the age where I don't want to fuck with any of that shit. Just give me a good TV show, movie, game, and let me experience that way.
Kayla, I'm surprised you didn't say 28 Days Later. You
Uh,
got your boy walking around naked for 10 minutes straight, and
That's about as much of that movie I've seen.
oh, okay. You were done. He's like, oh, he puts
Yeah,
pants on.
Pornhub only has that.
Trash.
Sorry, she's classy, Mike. She only gets her skin from Mr. Skin.
Mr. Skin,
Okay?
not a subscription.
The paid one. Yeah. Or she just looks at the pictures. She doesn't like.
It's a 99-cent trial. She just has a shit ton of different email addresses.
Watching Chernobyl recently, like that seems like
man.
we shouldn't have fucking survived that shit. Like that should have been a
We
fucking
almost did it.
post-apocalypse. Like, man, that was so well done too, and just seeing like,
I rewatched that not too long ago. That was good.
oh, it's so good. I just watched it last week for the first
Oh
time.
yeah, I watched it when it first came out because I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is pretty good, and then like whatever, and then I finished it, and then well, I watched the first episode, and then people were going crazy about how good it is, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess I'll finish it. It's so good.
I think it's the same showrunner as doing the Last of Us series for HBO, so it's got some legs under it at least.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because that's got delayed, huh? That's 2023. Huh?
2023, yeah.
They can take their time. That's all right. It's all right.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
did
we
they
got
cast for it?
Pedro Pascal is Joel, and I don't know who. I forget who's.
I forgot her name, but she's the Lord Mormont from Lady
Oh,
Mormont
yes, Lady
from
Mormont.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I also
Got-
forget her name. They just recently announced the casting of and now I'm forgetting Riley, her like early life love interest, like Ellie's and it's the sister character, and I'm forgetting her name on Euphoria.
I immediately was thinking, I hope that is her. She's in The Invisible Man as well.
You're right.
remake.
She's
Yeah.
really, really good, and I'm
Cool.
excited for that casting. I think I really dig her in Euphoria, and I didn't even put it together about the Invisible Man, but yeah, she's really good, and I think she looks like Riley too, so that doesn't hurt anything.
Cool. I hope that's good. Hope it's
Well,
real.
we'll have another post-apocalypse, show to watch. We're running out. Well, everyone out there, be safe. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a real one on our hands someday.
Stock up on iodine.
All the salt.
That about wraps up episode 65 of the Machine of Nonsense. We talked Boba Fett, Peacemaker, Horizon, the Oscar noms, the Super Bowl trailers, jam-packed, and a little bit of post-apocalypse talk to sprinkle on top. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, and you're not subscribed to the pod, go ahead and do that. We're on every podcast app. Go ahead and leave us a review or something. Tell a friend. Share it. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go ahead and join our Facebook fan group called Monstars. We've got a poll up there that Mike might be currently leading. It was for our N64 draft on our last episode. Mike is currently leading. The fans think he has the best draft of N64 titles, but if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and give your host a vote. That's on the Monstars fan group.
When are we closing that poll? Let's close it today.
As soon as I win. Yeah. I've got the power, so.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed episode 65, the post-apocalypse episode. I was your host, Eric. I was joined by Kayla, Mike, and Aaron. We're getting out of here, and we're saying goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.